Welcome to Raising the Curve, a podcast designed to teach you everything you need to know to be better with your money. In the wise words of Amy Schumer, we're slipping carrots into the brownie recipe.
I don't really get the saying.
It's kind of like eating vegetables that actually taste good. You know, like putting
Still
carrot
not
in the
with
brownie
you.
recipe.
Are you on the script?
It's basically like saying investing in finance can be boring but it totally doesn't need to be.
Oh, okay. So we're making it fun by putting the carrot, aka the vegetables, which are good for you, into the brownie recipe.
Okay, we got there, okay.
Okay.
Well, you've really got a finance brain.
Yeah, one of us has to.
This is true. Okay, come and learn alongside me from Vic Harris, ex-fund manager, where I'm going to ask all the questions that you wish you could.
And I'm going to be eating all the brownie you wish you could.
No, that's so not the joke, Vic.
Oh.
Okay, just come and talk and learn and laugh with us because together we really can raise the curve.
So we interviewed an incredible woman called Ruby Raut. Now, some of you may have heard of her business. Her business that she founded is called Wuka, and it is all about producing sustainable, reusable period products. It's actually an acronym, which I didn't realize, for Wake Up, Kick Ass. So love that. Anyway, Ruby grew up in Nepal where there was a lot of shame around menstruation. The things that she went through when she was a teenager around having a period and the shame around that was just such an amazing story, and where she's come from and then grown this business. Also her relationship with money, growing up in a very different culture to the likes of Soph and I. And so it was a really, really interesting chat. She was so inspiring. We really wanted to talk to her around the shame around menstruation when it comes to women, the impact that has on education, financial well-being, all of that. And so really incredible story. And I can't wait for you all to listen to it. This is Ruby Raut.
Ruby, we're so excited to have you here. I actually chased her down, Vic, at an event. I heard her speak publicly and I was like,
I have no doubt you chased her down. I have been at events with you where you chase people down. And I'm like, no, let's go.
I was like, Vic, should we just? She's like, no,
they're talking to someone, let's leave.
So Ruby spoke at an event I went to and I was so inspired by your story and what you shared about business and money and growing up in Nepal. And I think that our audience will learn a lot from everything that you've experienced in your life. And I also think, the conversations that we have about money are often quite skewed to Western society and what our upbringing has been. And unless we speak to people that have experienced something really different, it's really hard to understand or try and comprehend the different perspectives and lenses that we all look at money and success and finance and business. So really excited to hear and share your story. Thanks so much for coming in. You traveled like an hour and a half to get here.
I know.
We were like, gosh, that's a stunning effort. Could we start from the beginning? I would love if you could paint a picture of what it was like growing up in Nepal, particularly as a young woman. Mm-hmm. I haven't been. Have you been to Nepal?
No, it's definitely on my list. I would love to go.
I would love to go as well, but I imagine obviously going there as a traveller would be very, very different to growing up there.
It depends where you go. Actually, you can live a very local lifestyle and depend on the trek that you do or the city that you visit. But it's one of the humbling place on earth, Nepal. All the people are like that. And pretty much you ask anybody who has been to Nepal, they will say the same thing.
Just the people are lovely.
People are lovely.
Oh, beautiful.
Place is beautiful, very rugged. Like nothing is landscapes, it's like
Beautiful.
you can't see it. Yeah.
I'm picturing Himalayas.
Yeah.
Are the Himalayas?
Yes, we do.
I am so
I studied
unwieldy.
geography. Yeah, 7th form geography.
Geography is really something I struggle with. So
Well, we've got Mount Everest there.
Mount
so.
Everest.
Yes.
No, Sophie. Oh, wow.
sorry. I mean, I'm talented in other areas,
I promise.
So what about the people and the quality of life and the education in terms of the places that you lived in? I mean, I really would love you to paint quite a descriptive picture of what it's like.
So childhood, it looks like I was born in mountain, like no cars, no buses, nothing. Pretty much you had to walk to any city that you want to go to. Then moved when I was 5 years old to a little valley called Fidim, and it was very valley. Like you go to shopping, you go downhill, proper downhill, and then you go climb up shopping, carrying a shopping
But
bag.
where would you go shopping? Like what kind of shops were there?
Oh, it's just like shops in the street. Like basically, some people will put the jute bag on, put the potatoes that they have grown in their backyard, bring it outside, they sell it, and within like midday, pretty much you do shopping. So because it used to be quite windy valley, most of the day activities used to finish by 1 o'clock, and then the wind would catch it up, and then most of the people would stay indoor. So quite windy valley from my recall. And then rainy, it was to be really muddy and rainy, like red mud slopping down.
Was it more of a barter system, or did you have currency? Like, what was the exchange?
We did have a currency.
Yeah.
But bartering was like very much of a culture as well. Like
Yes. Yeah.
some like next door neighbor would, and it still now happens. If my mum grows some vegetable, my next door neighbor will grow completely different vegetable, and then they will just swap. Yeah. So very much like that.
And what were the houses like?
Tiny tin houses, I would say, not a massive one. So because my dad used to work in a telecom, he moved different places every 3-4 years, and we used to rent houses wherever we went. I remember the house in Fidim, where in the valley, it had a tin roof, 2 rooms. One had a kitchen, and my sister would sleep on the same room where the kitchen was. And we used to have those stoves, which you'd pump and then build up a stove and you cook it in there. It's like very much like petrol at that time was the use. We didn't have firewoods or anything like that in that house.
So was there electricity?
No, we didn't have electricity. So see, we used to do candles and those lanterns with little petrol and those little wicking coming out.
What about, would you get freezing? Like how did you stay warm?
Layer your clothes.
Wow.
And no heating. So when somebody used to cook, basically everybody sits around the fire, just enjoy the fire while the food is being cooked. You are keeping yourself warm. And also I think having the kitchen in the room we slept, that always kept it warm. So very much a village kind of lifestyle. And for us at that time, we were living a quite good lifestyle, in terms of my mother's eyes. Mum was a housemaker and dad worked outside. And he used to earn around $3 a day. And my mum's dream was one dream, like she wanted to send all the 3 girls to like English speaking school. That was her dream. Like she goes like, I never went to school. Father never went to school. In fact, my grandfather passed away when he was in his early 50s. And the job that my grandfather was doing was hand over to the first son, regardless of qualification or not, because there were so many mouths to feed. So the government said like, okay, it'll go to my father.
So
and
it was
16.
illegal.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He was 16. Wow. So much responsibility to look after a mother, 4, 5 brothers and sisters, right?
Wow.
He got married when he was 20 and then just went with my mum, and then we traveled around. So pretty much you had to divide the money between family. And yet I think my mum was really great at managing money. And then since very young, she has always taught us like to be frugal with money. And that has really helped on like doing the business now, like how like childhood shapes as you grow older.
Do you remember your first memory of money or interacting with money or being spoken to about it?
Oh, a lot. So 12 years of age, then we moved to plains. So Nepal is divided into plains, valleys, and mountains. So we were moving from mountain all the way down to the plains. Plains is very hot. Like you are thinking about 40 degrees hot in summer. Winter is 17, 18 degrees. So it's like very different climate to where we were at.
Is there like a class system in terms of if the mountains is like lower class, valley, middle, plains?
There's a caste system.
Okay.
So you are of certain caste, you do certain kind of job.
Got you. Okay.
And there are like certain lower caste, and lower caste often do like lower paid job.
What would the lower paid jobs be? And like when you say lower caste, is it anything to do with the color of your skin, or is it purely the family's last name?
Purely the family. And then I think lower caste jobs, you look at like tailoring, cobbler, cleaning toilets, those kind of thing.
And then what would middle class be, or middle caste?
More like a business, shops, business, those kind of way.
And then top?
And then the top is like higher paid government jobs. Much security, right?
And you're not allowed to step outside your caste system.
So you're not allowed to marry outside of the caste system. That was the thing then.
How does that change over generations then? If you can't marry
Maybe that's the point.
There are many castes within like the top tier, middle tier, and bottom tier kind of way. So the
Yeah.
people usually marry within their caste, but make sure that there is no like 3-generation connection between any of the people there that you're getting married.
Oh
to.
my gosh.
Are you born?
But that's more for incest reasons, not
Yes,
financials.
yeah. But are you born knowing what caste? Like, is there a line of like, oh no, you're this and you're this, or is it just kind of a?
Can you tell when you meet people at school? You're like, oh, your family's lower caste, yours is middle.
Well,
is
in
it?
the face you can't see it.
Yeah.
With the surname you can.
Oh, the surname.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very much you are this and you are this. It's not. Yeah. Wow.
And then within the surname as well, look, you can tell. So within the feature of the face, I am Chetri. My ancestor were like warriors in the war, those kind of thing. Then you have got Brahmin who are like higher than up Chetri, and they often have like a slightly pointy nose, where we have got a slightly more flat nose. And then you have got Mongolians who are like Rai Limbu. We have got the Mongol feature kind of way, and they have got flat nose.
You really are marrying within. I mean, no wonder there's the 3-generation rule, because if you're marrying people that look like you because you've bred within the same
class
system, you know, like that makes it's such an interesting concept, you know, like
because you've loosely got it here in the UK, you know, in terms of
Well, look at the royal family.
royalty, exactly, like all the way down. But you wouldn't bump into someone in the street. There's no, I guess, defining rule of this is what determines you're this caste. You know, it's just kind of, I guess, but smoke and mirrorsy.
Yeah.
Whereas it seems like it's a lot more line in the sand.
Yeah.
In Nepal.
But so
Yeah.
does that then make it hard for anyone? What say you were born into the lowest caste and your future looked like cleaning toilets or being a cobbler or being a tailor or whatever, but you wanted to do something else. Are you just not allowed to?
Now there has been like a national regulation that within every public sector as well, there's always a quota for lower caste people to apply for the job, and that's theirs, right? So nobody takes it over. So that we are trying to bring more equality. I think where we really are behind is on gender equality more than anything else. Like women still are deemed to be seen as people breeder. Kind of thing, like you just get married, have kids, and that's it. Like your family is everything.
Wow.
In Kathmandu, like again, varies on city to city. Nepal is big as well, right, with tons of people in it, and it depends where you're looking for. In Kathmandu, it has changed. In cities, they have changed. Within my family, I know my cousins, they have changed, and they are now working. They are in the 20, 25, 27, and they're not married yet, they don't have a boyfriend, and it's absolutely okay now. When I was growing up, pretty much every girl who turned 20, they got married. My sister turned 20, she got married. Then my second sister turned 20, she got married.
And is this an arranged marriage?
Arranged marriage.
Yeah.
So you don't meet people before you get married, and you just, in the whim of somebody said that this is a nice guy.
Because I just don't think I would trust my parents to choose my partner.
I don't trust my parents to buy me a T-shirt,
No,
let alone
yeah, I
choose me a
know,
husband.
yeah.
What I get surprised is like, you've raised your child for 20 years with you, closer to you, making sure that she's looked after, fed, nice clothes bought, all this kind of thing. How do you give your daughter to somebody, random person's house, random person's life, and say like, go and get married and never come back? Right? In our culture, when you get married, you actually have to go and stay at your husband's house. And they have their family living with them. So you are going into a joint family. For me, that is like still like a bit of a shock. Like being a parent, we can see how much a parent loves their child, right? Dearly, absolutely. They'll do anything for them.
And then
And
all
then
of a
you
sudden
also
they get
live-
married and go off and they're just not.
Yeah, they just decide that, okay, my daughter is going to this another person's house.
And is there like dowries or financial exchange for marriages? How does it work in terms of if women are seen more as breeding machines? What's the financial exchange and agreement as soon as someone does get married?
With my first sister, we actually did not do anything like that. Second sister, they did ask a few things. So you can go as to extreme as like they will ask you for buy me a car or a motorbike
In
or
exchange
a
for your
house.
daughter.
In exchange for your daughter. So you're giving your daughter and you're giving all the wealth as well too, so that the daughter will be looked after it. In some cases, you give like beds, wardrobes, anything that your daughter might need. It's a full set of a bedroom set and kitchen appliances and all this kind of thing.
And is it the more expensive or extravagant the dowry, the more valued the woman is? Or how does that concept work in coming up with that financial dollar figure?
It's not the girl's family who asks for a dowry, right?
Yes.
It's the boy's
Got you.
family who asks for a dowry. So I think they're valuing the son higher, God knows. But it's a horrible system. I think the girl should not go and marry and live with somebody else. Either they need to make their own life, find a different settlement, or I don't know, give an option to live in both with girl's family as well as boy's family.
Yeah.
You know,
Just give
like-
them the choice and the freedom to.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and if you looked at some of your friends and people that still live in Nepal and are very much in that system, is there a combination of some people who are really happy with that and then some who want to work and want to do their own thing? Or because I imagine myself, if I was in a situation where all around me a particular society was modeled, I mean, I guess even just looking at mine
right
now,
yeah.
because I see people that have options to do those things, I know it's something that I can make a choice on. But I guess there's probably not a lot of representation around other ways you can live your life as a woman. So with your people you know, are they content or is there an element of not being happy with that? I'm just...
Deep down, if you ask any woman who's married to a stranger, had to have kids, at the choice that they did not wanted to have kids, perhaps, and felt like pressured by a society, they are quite unhappy, you know, because once you get married, it's never your choice. Pretty much, your life is dictated by somebody else, some different society, where the husband has grown up. And this is the case in like quite a lot of like Asian country, if you're looking at it, and maybe in a different form. Even if you look at like India or Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, those kind of thing, there's societal pressure to make your husband's family happy, to make your husband happy, to have children for them and not for yourself. It's a thing.
It's the whole selfless, like, give everything up for your kids, for your husband. So you have left Nepal, obviously, we're in the UK, and you've also created an incredible business called Wuka. Can you speak to what it was like being a young woman, having your period in Nepal, the kinds of conditions that you were in, and then how did you go to leave? Like, how did you even leave Nepal based on everything that we've just heard? I kind of can't even imagine.
Come to the UK, which is very vastly different to where you grew up. So
Okay, so experience-wise, so I moved to Plains 12, I got my first period. Culturally, we have this thing called, for period, we call it nachune, which literally translates to untouchable. So you're untouchable for 4 days of your period.
and
When you
not
have
from
a
like a glorified, you're untouchable.
No, like
It's-
you're dirty.
You're
Yes.
dirty.
Yeah,
it's like a derogatory kind
exactly.
of. Yeah. Got you.
That means you're dirty. You can't go to kitchen. You can't pour yourself water. Like, just stay away. Culturally, it came from when my great-grandmother, when they had the period, they didn't have period products. So they used to walk around wearing saris, and then there used to be a trail of blood dripping. So my great-grandfather started saying, like, just tuck your sari in between your leg and then go and sit down. We'll do the rest. And at that time, I think my grandparents, they really loved it because that was the 4 days of the month where they didn't have to cook, clean or anything or look after and just run around things, like just doing things for other people. And then the culture started since then. My mum age came in. I think my mum actually used a rope and a long piece of sari rags. And then basically you hang the rope. So you tie the rope in your waist, if you can picture that. And then you have got a long piece of cloth that goes from front to the back all the way and then gets tucked into that rope in your body. Then the generation came when I had my period, we had underwear. So my mom gave the same rag, but made into small pieces and said like, okay, these are your menstrual products. You put it in your underwear, you wear the underwear and it should absorb your blood. So she handed me that, around 8, 9 of them, and said like, these are your menstrual product, but your first period, you have to go to your aunt's house because your father can't see you because it's your first period, so we'll just have to put you aside. And my aunt had 2 cousins, similar age as me. I was like, okay, this is great. I'll just go stay with them, have fun, not go to school. I love that. And when I went there, I just realized that, okay, pretty much there's a room, there's a bed on the floor, just a little blanket on the floor. Cups, bowl, plates, very separated. And what was weird was like pretty much every time I wanted the food, they did not even give it on my hand. They just throwed it on the floor and passed it on the ground. Like very much like a prisoner. 8 days, and I was like, I'm never going to do that to my mom. And she said, like, don't worry, like, you just have to now do it at home. That was the first time. Now, this becomes extreme when you go to far western part of Nepal, where education is very low, and girls and women are sent to cowshed or menstrual hut. Menstrual hut. They are like this tiny little hut. Most of them used to be the goat's shed. So basically, they turned the goat shed into they put the hay in, and then the women used to just go in there and sleep for the 4 days when they had the period.
What about winter?
And this is the thing. Every winter, you will hear in the news that some women died while doing this in far western part of Nepal because they try to keep themselves warm. They suffocate in smoke and then they die.
Oh,
Wow.
my goodness.
Quite a lot of women also take their babies with them when they do this.
Oh
like
my
we have
gosh.
had so many cases of like this kind of thing. Snake bites, rape cases. Like most of the toilet if you go to villages, they are like miles away from your house. So you're just like going at the dark, not knowing who's prying on you, those kind of things. So
God,
it's just a horrible thing to go through.
Was there any kind of realization from your mother or from generations that had been through this that were like, we're going to do it differently? Like, we've been through this. We know how scary, cold, dangerous, shameful it is, and we're going to change that narrative. Was there any?
It's so dictated by patriarchy.
True, yeah.
I think they never had that guts to say why. Like even my mom still does not question. If my grandparents said something to her, she would blindly follow it, without asking a question. And I think there is this generation shift that we are seeing now. And it was me who was the one who was asking question, why we're doing this, right? Now you see Gen Zs are all about like, I'm sorry, if you don't show me the evidence or if you don't show me why we are doing, I'm not doing it kind of way. And I think that challenging behavior was never there.
And so at what point did you think this has got to change? Because I'm imagining culturally you didn't think this is a business idea or I can make money from this. You just thought this is a problem and I don't like the way that it is and I want to try and make this experience better for myself.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through the product development, how you came up with the idea? And then how did you manage to leave Nepal to grow the business?
I think my worst time of my life has been like 13 to 17, 18 years old of my life. Because in the junior year, up until 14, 15 years old, we had a communal toilet. Basically, you squat on the toilet and there was a canal in front of you. There used to be like 5-6 people squatted at the same time. And then the canal used to connect to the boys' toilet. So when you're on your period, A, the blood would run. B, when you take your underwear off, the pad used to literally fall off on the ground. So you can't use that. You just pick it up and just run home, right? Then I think that this is where I started, right? Since very young, like 15 years, I remember like I used to safety pin on both sides where the pad ended on my underwear and safety pin it so that when I take the underwear down, it didn't fall off.
And this is sari, right? When you say
this is the sari, yes.
Not pad, it's not an actual
Yes.
pad.
It's a sari rag. Sari is small, cut into small pieces. Obviously, then soon I realized that putting safety pin is very dangerous
I was going to
down
say,
there.
imagine I would
Ow.
sit on
Yeah.
one. Oh my gosh.
So then I started doing multi-layer underwear. So I used to put an underwear first, then put the pad
Clever.
underwear kind of way, and then just so that it didn't move or shift. Then I started wearing like slack shorts, something that it didn't fall off from the side. Because we used to never wear like fitted underwear. So it used to be one size underwear, the same size underwear I wore, my mom wore, So I think the idea was there since then. I moved to UK because I was turning 20 and I was like, I don't want to be 20
And getting married.
But how did you even get the money or permission to do that?
Oh, that's a long story. Basically, met this guy, fell in love at that time, crush, whatever. And he decided to go to US, but then we didn't both get visa. So I applied the UK on a student. He paid the money, but he wanted to come and work here. So we got the visa, came here together, then had a horrible relationship, absolutely horrendous. Left me with, I think, 92 pence in my bank account. and then he went back.
What did you do?
I was here in Bethnal Green at that time.
Oh my gosh.
Terrified.
Yeah.
Terrified.
Oh my gosh, Ruby.
Yeah.
In one of the most expensive cities in the world.
Yeah.
With £92.
And had you been working up until
92
this?
pence.
Pence.
It's not
Oh
even
my
a
gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Not in a pound.
Wow. Okay.
What were you doing for work at the time?
I was doing an au pair, and I was doing only 7 hours at that time, au pair as well, right? So because I was a student, I couldn't work more than 20 hours. So I told the people that I was doing au pair with, like, look, I don't have any place to live, this kind of thing. So they said, like, okay, work for us for free. You'll get to live and eat with us for free. So I just stayed with them, worked 3 days a week with them. And then 4 days I started looking for other job and found a bartending job. So that was like a horrible year of my life. But back to 2020, coming here, I did pretty much every job under the sun. I did from cleaning the toilets at the Olympics
Oh, yeah.
to, and 2012 that was. I did catering. I used to be the sandwich girl in Warner's Bros. And Disney Channel kind of thing places. Worked in the kitchen, did an au pair, sold flowers to pubs. So very much
And-
like
and
very
so in-
entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Like, when did you get to a place where you decided to, or you started the business? Like, how did you even start productizing it and selling it? Like, I mean,
Or even have the idea of
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
actually, I'm going to solve this problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2014, I went back to uni. So I came here to join the uni. I did 1 year of uni, ran out of money completely. So I thought I'll work as much as I can. Joined another college. The college got shut down, but I at least got a 2 years visa to work and live here. And I think I met my husband around 2012, end of 2012 at that time. Moved in with him. Then he goes like, maybe you should want to go back to uni. So it took me actually another year to justify myself that I'm worthy of going to uni. So 2014 started doing Open University online course while working part-time. And I think when I came out of the university, my life completely changed. Like, I was studying everything David Attenborough was teaching, the BBC, like Planet.
Himself.
His modules.
Yeah. I was
Wow.
like, whoa. I was like, I would probably be in a trance if he was a lecturer. He'd be like,
I'd
"And
fall
the
asleep.
bird." Yeah.
Not because I'm not into it, but
Yeah,
just his
yeah.
voice is so calming.
Calming,
Yeah.
yeah. Pretty much all of his module, everything that we watched on the TV was like part of our module, came out. And I was like, oh my, everything that we are doing is wrong. Everything that we are doing has got plastic in them, So when I first came, I was like absolutely overwhelmed to see the pads and tampons in the shelf. Pretty much tried everything. But after uni, after graduating, I went to the same shopping aisle and I was like, oh my God, everything has got plastic in them. Pretty much one packet of pads have got like 5 plastic bags worth of plastics. So quite a lot. And I
And
think
every box of tampons has like 20 something plastic
Oh, yeah,
wrappers.
yeah.
It's
Oh, and
crazy.
the
wrappers and then the
applications.
applicators,
Oh my
right?
God.
They're solid plastic. They will never be again recycled into anything because they are clinical waste once you put it in your body. So they will have to be segregated as like a landfill waste kind of thing. I think my journey of business started together with my husband, I would say. I did this course called Lean Startup Machine, and I don't know if they still do or not, but it's like a weekend course. You go in with an idea, you pitch among like 80, 90 people. If the people like your idea, they will come and join you as a team. Then throughout the weekend, you build a website, go test the product. And some people even sell the product by end of Monday morning and have some revenue kind of thing. So it's like very fast.
Kind of like an accelerator program or something.
Yeah. It's a weekend kind of like full on. You don't sleep, you don't eat pretty much.
It's like the 24-hour film festival or something.
Yeah.
Our film
Yeah,
festival.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, totally. I know. Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
So I had learned some of those skills at that time. But it was when I went to school and I started teaching kids about sustainability, period product. Only 2 girls knew about reusable products. So I was like, okay, this is very surprising that nobody talks about sustainable products. On the way back home, I got a secondhand sewing machine. Remembered how I layered my mom's sari in between the underwear. I literally did the same thing, put my husband's t-shirt in it. And I stitched this underwear this time, the 2 underwear together with the absorbent. Made 5-6 pair of them, just wore it myself.
so you made period underwear.
Then I made period underwear. without any liquid flare.
Wow.
But I made an absorbent underwear at that time. Then I fell in love with my own idea. Then Dave was like, no, this can't be right. You can't fall in love with your own idea, what people think and all this kind of thing. You need to get some validation from people that they need this product, or otherwise it'll be just flop.
You're like, I know about half the population that would validate this product. Yeah.
Exactly.
Also, just like the fact that you decided to do something different to what the status quo was using for periods when you'd grown up being taught that periods are dirty, and because there is a lot of connotations around period underwear still, or moon cups, that are the more sustainable options because people don't want to be labelled as dirty or what, I think it's really, we're starting to shift that perspective, but it's amazing so early, even though that had been your upbringing and how you viewed your own cycle and period, that you went down the period underwear path. Like, it's quite incredible.
That you could, not be put off by the shame that you'd experienced. Be like, I'm not going to talk about it in a Western society because...
Or I'm just going to use tampons because that's what's available to me. It's like, no, there's a better way of doing this.
It never fazed me about the taboos.
Yeah.
I thought the taboos were like just there because somebody made it, and it is what it is, right? Somebody made it and we just blindly follow it. So for me, it was like, my main goal was like, A, how do I reduce the amount of plastic that people use? B, how can I make it comfortable? Because people have really taken comfort as granted. Like, once you use period underwear, you will realize the amount of change that you find in yourself from using something that is wedged in between your legs or something that you have to put inside. This is like a completely total different experience, right? You sleep with comfort and knowing the fact that actually you don't have to worry about the leaks at night, those kind of things. And I think those are the specific moments that people often take it for granted, and you have to use it to actually feel it and experience it.
Have you used period underwear?
I love them. Yeah. You gave me yours. You were given some and you didn't wear them. And then you were like, I don't think I'm going to wear these. And then you gave them to me. Oh. I love them. I think they're so comfy. I think you should give them a go. Like, by the way, can I just clarify, she didn't give me used period underwear.
Yeah, no.
They were brand new, just to clarify. But no, I'm a big fan because I don't know. I think it's just changing the perspective. I would love to understand how you came to make business decisions, or because how much revenue has the business now turned over?
Total, we're looking at 18 million.
80.
18
million.
Still,
yeah, total since we began to.
Yeah, but pounds.
That's a lot of products.
That's incredible.
Amazing. Yes. Sorry.
And so what? Oh God, that is just like insane. And so what's the economic impact of people not using reusable period products?
You're basically paying double the price that you would pay with period pants. So you'd save half of the money that you would spend on period product in 2 years by switching to Wuka.
What do you mean?
So
the amount you spend on tampons.
On tampons
and pads.
Yeah.
So if you're spending at the moment £60 a year, so in 2 years you would spend £120. If you buy 5 pair of Wuka, that costs you around 60 quid. So,
and excuse my naivety, but do you...
I'm so scared of what this question is. She's looking at me like,
do you use it again?
But do you... So you put the underwear on, you use it for the day.
Then you put it in the wash.
Then you put it in the wash and you've changed to another pair of period underwear, and you use the period underwear for the whole time of your period.
Yes. You
don't take out a piece in it, like you don't have the same undies and you take out the...
No. You just wear one underwear. Take it off the underwear.
Take off the underwear. Just like normal, like everyday.
It's normal underwear,
But it's got,
my Lord.
I don't know.
No, but it's crazy that you don't. And
why?
Because, there'll be so many people listening that don't know either.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that the way you said when you were like, I stapled the fabric, and so I kind of assumed that
it's growing a bit since then.
I know. But I thought it was like, I don't know.
All valid question.
You
honestly,
put a pad in and you take it anyway. So we'll just, now I understand, and I'm excited to give them a try.
You can literally rinse them off under cold water, chuck them with their dark color clothes, and put it in a washing machine. You don't even have to hand wash them. So conveniently.
I see. I would love to know the economic burden of having your period, menstruating, just like the kind of the financial impact of that on women, what workplaces can do to be more accommodating. And like I can imagine back when you were in Nepal, going away for 4 days, the impact that would have had on your education and your, like that's a massive question. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd just love to know from the work that you've done, what are the financial impacts or the economic burden?
So if you're looking at just somebody menstruating, if the person menstruates straight on,
Yes.
right, they would menstruate for 10 years of their life.
Wow. God, I'm going to be menstruating for 10 years of my life. Jeez.
Yeah, straight on bleeding kind of way. But where we are seeing the most gap is like pretty much every kid's student, a woman, girl, person who has period, will get 40 minutes of period education for 40 years of their life. So a period that stays with them for 40 years of their life.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the main gap that we are seeing is like we are not educating people enough about periods and the impact of periods on a person's life. Whether that could be missing the school, missing education. If the girls are falling behind of the boys because of the period. In sports, definitely. I think 1 in 2 girls actually miss out on sports.
Oh my God, I'd never even thought of sports.
Yes.
Which is terrible.
Swim,
but,
right?
yeah.
Like quite a lot of girls don't go on swim when they're on the period. So there's this accumulation of
falling behind. Yeah.
And then you go to workplaces and then you fall behind on the workplaces because conditions like endometriosis, PCOS takes almost 9 years to get diagnosed.
Yeah. And then also if you've got period cramps or you stay at home, that's sick days, there's kind of so many
and workplace
ways that we are held back because we menstruate. Yeah.
And I think workplace still very much, most of the manager are men. They don't understand you. Period product in offices is like such a tiny little thing, but makes very empathetic employer.
Yes. Yeah. It's a small thing that can make a big difference. Yeah.
Just put a product because you never know in the office who might just come on, might not have a period.
Yeah.
Feel absolutely embarrassed to even ask or like go out or those kind of thing. But just that little difference makes.
Oh, I also think the pain that you feel from menstruating, like if you can't concentrate, if you need to take a sick day, like all of that, men just have no idea. Like the chronic pain that women, with endometriosis or POS have. PCOS.
With POS.
With POS. POS system.
You know, there's a PCOS.
Like it's debilitating.
Is POS like an FPOS machine? Oh my God, is there anything that makes her sound more like a finance girl?
Oh gosh, yes. But it's your lack of productivity because honestly, like I got my period yesterday and today has not been my most productive day. And I was sitting there and I was like, I actually feel for people in chronic pain, not menstrual pain, but chronic pain.
Yeah,
how your life just must be so
it's
frustrating, debilitating.
Right.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of people even don't come out of the house, you know, like, or heavy bleeding.
Yeah.
There are quite a lot of people who just don't leave the house because of the heavy bleeding. And often they are just like misdiagnosed. Not just period. I think where we are missing the conversation is about hormones. Why is nobody talking about hormones, right? The fluctuating of the hormones is the basic fundamental thing that actually drives us, how we perform and all this kind of thing, right? I think there should definitely be more education. I mean, I can go ramble about hormones quite a bit, but I feel like that is very under a taught subject in any woman's life.
I think it's awareness as well. Like I think only in my 30s have I realized how much hormones play a part in like how I feel, my
mood, energy,
yeah,
creativity.
If I'm gonna cry because I watch a sad ad on TV and just bawling my eyes out, and then the next day I get my period, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. Anyway, sorry.
In terms of the financial side of things, you've been incredibly successful. There's a need for your products. They're being bought all over the world. Like you're financially successful as well as solving an enormous problem, which is so incredible. And I'm just wondering what you've learned throughout that time in business. What have been some of the biggest learnings for you financially that you would never have had exposure to or have realized if you had never stepped into a business ownership role?
I've learned everything. First rule, when you are small and when you are just starting kind of way, cash flow is the king. You have to make sure you know where you're spending money. If you are, and then also thinking about where the money's coming back and always work your way around okay, if I invest this much, this is what's going to, and you need to have that predictable income coming back.
I didn't do that. Sorry, Soph.
What do you mean?
We got to a point where I was like, we're out of money.
Oh, yeah,
we
that was
can't
bad.
pay ourselves. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I had to really bite my tongue to be like, you wouldn't have done any better, Soph. So
I was trying to have this like carefree attitude of like, money's going to flow in,
I
money's
like
going to
that.
flow in, but it's not flowing in.
Yeah, yeah.
So shit, sorry.
And there is a stage to that as well, right? And I think as you grow a bit bigger, what we have started realizing is like, if you don't spend, you don't get back, kind of way.
Yes,
And
yeah.
marketing and all this kind of thing. And that's the critical kind of point. Like, you need to understand, okay, like now is just spending time because we can't be conservative and just only spend this much because that's how much return you're going to get.
Got to spend money to make money. Woo!
Yeah.
sounds like you're ordering tequila shots. Like, another round. But with all of the learnings that you've had, like from a business perspective, in terms of your personal finances and within your dynamic with your husband, how does that work? And is he from Nepal? Or
No, he's
yeah,
here.
right. Okay. So culturally, how do you deal with money now? For you, what feels good for you and for him, and how? Because you're obviously very, like, you know how to manage money. You have your own business.
Yeah. First 2 years, I didn't take any salary. And I think this is like the story of pretty much any founders that you hear. And at that time, he was paying for everything, you know. The best thing that happened to us as a partners were we actually bought our house outright. And we made that decision, rather than investing on business, we want to buy a house. Because then that gave me and both of us this financial burden freedom that actually now we can put all of our energy into business, and we can take a tiny salary, or not even one person works somewhere else, and then I can run on his salary.
Maybe we should buy a house together, Vic, and then just not pay ourselves.
I can't afford.
I don't either. I'm like,
If we
winking
had to
at
buy a
him.
house outright,
Oh no, there's no way.
I'd be-
How did you even get that much money?
So my husband used to work at trainline.com.
oh, Trainline.
Yeah.
That's where you book the tickets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Was there ever a decision where you were like, right, okay, we can either save up the amount to purchase this house, or I could start my business and use that money and it grow. You know, like that would have been quite a decision to make. And you would have had to, it's all an allocation of funds in terms of what's the best use of our funds right now.
So I raised £7,000 in 2017 as a Kickstarter campaign. So put the video up, and I said, like, 3 months in, I will send you some pants. Who would like to try? And got that, and that gave me some money to make around 1,000 pair of underwear at that time. Then I think in 2018 we were in national news everywhere. Well, UK's first period underwear is here. Would you like to give it a try? Kind of way. And that really increased the pre-order. I remember in May 2018, BBC Three did a fantastic article with like new menstrual product in the market, with Wuka being number one and 5-star for the product as well. We did 27K sale on that day without having underwear in the warehouse.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like that was like, oh my God, like I was like freaking out. It took us up to September, October that year on 2018 to actually be in stock. The order used to come before the stock would arrive, and we would
Did you
sell
have
out.
like angry customers that are like, I want my
People
underwear?
waited for 6 months to get one pair of underwear. I'm not like kidding.
Wow.
But there was like such a
Is that
hype about
because
like,
there wasn't that many other options in terms of...
There was no option.
Yeah, there was no other competitors.
No.
So it was like, well, I've got no option but to wait.
yeah. And everybody wanted to give it a try.
Yeah.
You know, see how it is. Like, and these were like the brave cohort of people that we call them, because to switch to Wuka, you have to be brave. You cannot
That's
be.
not in the
I know.
It's the habit, right?
It's the habit. I know. And it's yeah.
And I think that really helped. So we had a bit of a cash in the bank. 2 years, I just did only PR marketing. I didn't do any paid marketing at that time. So when my husband joined 3 years ago,
He joined Wuka?
He joined Wuka. So we work together now. So the company went IPO. Then we built the house.
Wait, are you IPO'd?
No, not us. His
Yeah, I was
company.
going to say, like, why are you
my
raising
God.
money if you're IPO'd and then you're raising money? I was like so confused.
Way to slip it in.
His company went IPO.
Oh.
So then he stayed for a year and then joined Wuka
Gotcha.
too. Then he goes like, okay, you got so much money in your bank account. You got to do something to move it. And honestly, I had zero clue about hiring people or doing anything. I just loved what I'm doing and just loved the PR and marketing side of the thing and brand, and just continued with that. He came, then we started building a team. Now we're a 17 people team in the office. And basically he just helped me how to mobilize money into marketing, but also into people, how to grow, those kind of way. And I think you do need to have a co-founder. Running solo business, solo founder, I don't know how. Yes.
Thank God for
Love
that.
you.
Yes,
Love
I
you,
know.
babe.
Thank God.
Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so true. It's like, if I was in this by myself, I probably would have given up a long time
same.
ago. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm just like so impressed at thinking about where you started in life and where you are now is just like so inspiring. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are for, and maybe there's no solution to it right now, but there's so many women who don't have the same opportunities to education, to start a business, to live the life that they want. And that's definitely a lot more in the Eastern world. I mean, I'm sure it's globally, but can we do anything on the side of the world? What needs to change, or what can be done to help women who right now don't have access to live the life or have a choice of how they live? I'm assuming education is like the pinnacle, but I just feel really privileged and
helpless.
And it's so unfair, the amount of opportunity and choice that I've had.
Yeah.
I just would love to hear if you have any thoughts on what could be done to change that.
So change comes within, right? If you're not intentionally thinking of change, you can't change somebody else by saying them to change. And this goes to, you don't have to go far away. Just go in your own home and ask people to change habit. Until unless it doesn't come within, they won't change. So you need to find people who have that intention to change and tap into them, rather than thinking about like, oh, I would like to go and inspire everyone, because not everybody's going to get inspired.
That's true.
This is the reality. Like,
They've got to want to change
they got to
themselves.
want to change.
Yeah.
They got to want to know that they want to have a better life. Quite a lot of people are happy with what they have got. And that's why, like, not everybody are entrepreneur, because being an entrepreneur is the hardest job ever. You are relentless. Your mind is relentless, right? You never rest. Like, and I'm sure you both know, like,
How do you know? How are you looking in my mind?
and this is true, right?
Totally.
We are almost like on the spectrum. If you're looking at it, like, whether
Sorry, I'm not laughing.
No, we
babe.
are. We totally
We literally are.
Both of
yeah.
us are.
Yeah.
So and I think every entrepreneurs that I've met, they all are like this relentless kind of thing. It's not the money, it's not the fame, it's something else that drives them, right? It's doing an impactful thing in life, something that, and I think that's where you are looking at is like, oh, we got this knowledge and like connection and all this kind of thing. How can we help other people? I think creating a platform is great, right? You know, like being accessible. I think that is one of the things. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I this is something I've learned over the time. Is like, I convinced my sister, my older sister, who is in Nepal at the moment, and I said, like, look, take Wuka Nepal and run it. She's just like, I've got my kids. This is my life. I just wanted to raise them and be a good mother, and that's my job.
Even though she has the option to, she doesn't want to do it.
And
Okay.
that's if people are happy with what they have, it's like that's all that you can ever want for someone.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's like just because what we've seen modeled around us or that we've seen as determined as successful, whether it's financially successful or otherwise.
For other people,
For
different things.
Exactly.
Successful,
Yeah.
right?
So it's. I think
It was more just when you said, if you asked most women who've been married to a stranger and basically had to have kids even if they don't want to, they're probably unhappy. It was more those women that
I think that for them, they are like quite a lot of platforms. And this is the social media's one of the blissful thing is women from all around of the world can see other women doing incredible thing, get inspired and do things. And we have seen that change. Like you compare this last 5 years to the 5 years before, you will see much more women in business, much more women being entrepreneur, much more women divorcing their men because actually it doesn't work.
because they've seen something else and they're like, oh, hello.
like
He
John
looks good.
123, who just slid into the DMs.
He's up in the mountains and I'm just going to go up there and then go from the
I'm going
plains
to
to
trek
the
up
mountains.
from the valley up to the mountains and meet John 123.
I genuinely like, I think I know within Kathmandu Valley, like within my family, within my cousins and distant relatives, there's a lot more divorce now than ever before. It's because people have seen like, actually, being suppressive housewife is not the way that I want to live my life. You know, I can be individual, I can not marry again and still be a very happy woman kind of way.
And they can see what else is on offer. So to summarize this conversation, don't let your partners have Instagram and see other options so that they'll stay with you forever. No.
That was really like heartfelt, Vic, and like you pulled out the best part of this conversation. Well done.
Well, I think we did more of a storytelling than
I
talking about money and stuff. But
it's just like Soph said at the beginning of the conversation. It's so great to have someone on that has such a different upbringing and a different view on money and a different journey to us. And yeah, I think it's really important that we open the conversations to different cultures and how they view money and their trajectory of their lives. And I think it's really important. And I am going to go buy some period underwear.
Wuka.
If
anyone does want to find out more about your business, because you are actually raising capital at the moment, so if there's anyone in the VC space, venture capital, and they want to invest in Wuka, we'll
or
put
any high net worth,
private equity, maybe.
Anyone get in touch. Amazing business, amazing founder. Thank you so much for your time and everything. We loved having you.
And we'll do a 2-for-1 deal if you want to invest in both companies as well.
Yes, exactly.
You get free underwear, and also we'll give you some online courses or something. Thank you so much for listening to Raising the Curve. These conversations are designed to teach you everything that you need to know to be better with your money, from saving to investing to talking to your friends about your salaries.
And if you liked what you heard, we would love it if you could hit the subscribe button, please.
Yes,
or
please.
Better yet, leave a review. It only takes 5 seconds and it would really make our week, our year, our month.
Okay, lots of love. See you soon.
Bye.